Hi everyone, it's Terry here from nutsaboutsstamping.com. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a very easy but really quite pretty fall card, or it could be a fall birthday card, or it could be a Thanksgiving card, a thank you card. It really depends on what phrase you choose. I'm going to use my Painted Harvest stamp set and my Come to Gather Designer Series paper to help me create my card. So I'm going to start off by doing some stamping. I've got the 2 leaf images from the Painted Harvest stamp set all mounted and ready to go. And I'm going to bring in quite a nasty looking piece of leftover grid paper because I want to do some stamping off before I stamp on my Whisper White cardstock. I'm going to use 2 colors primarily for my card. The first is Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to ink up the solid leaf stamp from the Painted Harvest stamp set. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on my Whisper White cardstock. I want the colors to be a little muted. I don't want them to be full strength and really juicy. So I'm going to do a second one. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on, and then I'm going to put that aside. And then I'm going to bring in my Early Espresso ink, and I'm going to do the same. This time I'm going to use the image, the leaf image that has the veins. I guess we would call this an outline stamp. I'm going to stamp off, and then I'm going to stamp on, and I'm going to do it a second time. Ink it up, stamp off, and stamp on. This is called generation stamping. Okay, and then I have another piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I've got the phrase that says, "I'm thankful for you," and I'm going to ink that up using my Early Espresso ink, and I'm going to stamp it down. And that's going to be a phrase for the front of my card. All right, so speaking of card, my base is going to be Pretty Peacock. I've cut it 8.5 by 5.5 and scored it on the 4 1/4 mark. And to that, I'm going to add a piece of the Come to Gather Designer Series paper. And that's going to be a layer for my card front. And then I'm going to add 2 more layers to my card. So I have a piece of Early Espresso, and then I'm going to add a second piece of the Come to Gather Designer Series paper. So I'm going to adhere those together, and then I'm going to take this layer and add it to my card base. So you can see things are starting to take shape. I love this plaid pattern because it means I can align everything nice and easily. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my phrase, and I'm going to attach that to the right-hand side of my layer. Okay, and now I'm going to bring in these 2 leaves. And did you know that we have a leaf punch? And the leaf punch lines up perfectly with this image that you can stamp. And that way I can create an embellishment for the front of my card. And in this case, 2 embellishments for the front of my card. Okay, and I just realized that I forgot my Stampin' Dimensionals, so I'll be back in a second and we'll finish off the card. All right, so I've decided to use my mini Stampin' Dimensionals because these leaves are a little bit smaller. I could use my regular ones on larger embellishments that I want to add. So I'm going to add one of the mini Stampin' Dimensionals to each of the leaves. And I like it because it pops it up off of my card front, which adds visual interest, I think. Okay, one more. Okay, that's off. Maybe I'll tuck that under. Like so. And then when I was over at my crafting table and my storage table, and I realized that I have some of this copper trim ribbon. So I think it would be really fun to make a little bow, a little copper bow, and add that as a final embellishment for the front of my card. So I'm going to attach a mini glue dot. So what I do is I create the bow, I cut it off the bolt, and then you just press the knot onto the mini glue dot, pull it off gently, and add a bow to the front of my card. And there we go. I think it's really pretty, very simple, doesn't require a lot of products to make this card, just the paper, the punch, the stamp set, the ink, and the bow, and you have a beautiful card. Like I said at the beginning, mine is going to be a thank you card or a thankful for you card, but you can change the phrase for the front of your card to meet any occasion that you have coming up that you need to make a card for. For a complete listing of the products that I used and the measurements for all of the cardstock layers, please head to my blog, www.nutsaboutsstamping.com. And while you're on my blog, consider subscribing to my newsletters. I send out a free newsletter each week, and right now I have started a brand new campaign of Christmas cards, gift ideas, bags, and tags. So you don't want to miss out on those exclusive projects because you're not going to see them anywhere else. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. I hope you'll create something beautiful today too. Bye for now.